Kia ora koutou, katoa, hello and welcome to this breakdown special on the road. Yes, we're at the All Black Experience at Sky City, and this is a special announcement of the All Black team, the first squad in the Steinlager Series for 2021. The Tangaroa College welcoming us. What's going to be a fantastic month celebrating the Pacifica Games. So John Kerwin, Hannah Porter, Mills Muliaina, we've all been here before. We've all been waiting to maybe hear our name call. We've all got different stories to tell, and JK, yours is maybe just a little bit different to some of ours.
Yeah, no, it was end of 1983, and I got told before playing Waikato at the end of the season that I was in the All Black squad. I'm incredibly excited. They said, you know, please don't tell anyone. Luckily, I didn't, because I got up the next morning at 10 a.m. and listened on the radio, or the wireless, as my dad would say, and my name wasn't there. So Bernie Fraser had found they said Bernie Fraser was out because he couldn't find someone to drive his truck. And then they found a truck driver for him overnight, and I didn't get named.
How much longer did you have to wait?
Another 6 or 7 months.
Oh,
it really motivated me, though. Like, it was like, yeah.
Hannah, for you, the special moment?
Yeah, so I was at the time living in a rustic flat in Castle Street in Dunedin, and we didn't have any cell phones at the time. So we were told to stay by the phone and they'd give us a call. So it turns out my phone was either not plugged in or off the hook. And so I went from pretty disappointed, didn't get a phone call until late at night, until someone else that was in the team ran around to my house, told me to sort out my phone, and the coach got me late at night. So
oh, wow. So
some nervous times.
You both had to wait. For you, Mills?
I wasn't like these guys. I had no sort of fancy story. I'm possibly like every person at home right now. The All Blacks are wanting to be named and sitting in front of your TV and hoping that your name gets called out. But obviously, when it's done in alphabetical order, and there were a lot of M's at the time, so I had to wait.
Hold on. Try being a Wilson. Mate, try being a Wilson. That's no fun. For me, in 1993, I'd been watching JK and the All Blacks play in Dunedin against Australia and win a Bledisloe Cup. And look, I was lucky enough to be a part of a great Otago side at the time. But the day I got named, I didn't even play. So we went and were playing Waikato in Hamilton, and it was sort of a grudge match between Waikato and Otago after a certain incident that happened, and Richard Lowe and Greg Cooper were playing a game. Yeah. Gordy Hunter decided I wasn't required for that game. I sat in the stands. That we got thumped, by the way, and luckily I didn't play my way out by any stretch of the imaginations, but I found out we were commiserating in a session, the team were, and I wasn't allowed to celebrate too much in front of the guys who'd missed out, the guy who hadn't made the side. But like I say, it was a unique experience, and just that first phone call I made, JK, to mum and dad at home, call collect, of course, from the hotel. Just the pride that they had, but also for me, a dream come true.
Yeah, I think that's the loveliest thing that happens is, you know, all the hard work, I think, personally, but your thoughts go straight away to your family and all those that have sacrificed for you, and you get just about as much pleasure out of seeing, their reaction as well, eh? And it's pretty special.
Yeah, my dad in particular was pretty emotional about it. He never really saw his daughter as playing rugby, so the first phone call to mum and dad was pretty special.
Cool. And for you, Mills?
I think it's just a pretty surreal moment, isn't it? You don't actually realise it until later on. You keep pinching yourself and things, and it's not till the weeks go on that you get that All Black jersey, or you're in their environment. You actually think, far out, all those sort of dreams about becoming an All Black has finally come true.
Well, will it come true for someone tonight? It's time now to go to the new chairman of New Zealand's rugby, Stuart Mitchell. He's got the team, the first squad for 2021.
Thank you, Jeff. Welcome to the All Blacks Experience for the announcement of the All Blacks squad for the Steinlager Series tests against Tonga and Fiji. The squad is Asafo Amua, Hurricanes and Wellington; Beauden Barrett, Blues and Taranaki; Geordie Barrett, Hurricanes and Taranaki; Scott Barrett, Crusaders and Taranaki; Ethan Blackadder, Crusaders and Tasman; George Bauer, Crusaders and Otago; George Bridge, Crusaders and Canterbury; Finlay Christie, Blues and Tasman; Dane Coles, Hurricanes and Wellington; Ethan de Groot, Highlanders and Southland; Braden Enor, Crusaders and Canterbury; Shannon Frizzell, Highlanders and Tasman; David Havili, Crusaders and Tasman. Akira Ioane, Blues and Auckland. Rico Ioane, Blues and Auckland. Luke Jacobson, Chiefs and Waikato. Will Jordan, Crusaders and Tasman. Nepo Laulala, Blues and Counties Manukau. Anton Leonard Brown, Chiefs and Waikato. Terrell Lomax, Hurricanes and Tasman. Damien McKenzie, Chiefs and Waikato. Richie Moanga, Crusaders and Canterbury. Dalton Papali'i, Blues and Counties Manukau. Sevu Reese, Crusaders and Tasman. Brodie Retallick, Chiefs and Hawke's Bay. Hardy Savia, Hurricanes and Wellington. Aaron Smith, Highlanders and Manawatu. Hoskins Sotutu, Blues and Counties Manukau. Angus Taova, Chiefs and Auckland. Cody Taylor, Crusaders and Canterbury. Carl Tu Inukawapi, Blues and North Harbour. Patrick Tuipulotu, Blues and Auckland. Quinn Tupaia, Chiefs and Waikato. Tupo Vai, Chiefs and Taranaki. Brad Webber, Chiefs and Hawke's Bay. And Samuel Whitelock, Crusaders and Canterbury and captain. Congratulations to all those selected, especially the new caps. And to the fans, we really look forward to seeing you during the Steinlager series. Back to you, Jeff.
Thanks, Stuart. Yes, well, a special moment for a number of players. Ethan de Groot, Ethan Blackadder, the opportunity to pull on the All Black jersey for a very first time. Sam Whitelock replaces Sam Cane as captain after Sam Cane ruled out through injury. So many names that we are familiar with, but a large squad picked by the All Blacks in terms of 36 players. We've seen a number of guys work their way back into the All Blacks. George Bower, a player with great potential as well. Shannon Frizzell is part of the squad. Finlay Christie, after some outstanding performances for the Blues, finds himself in at the third halfback position. The return of Beauden Barrett into New Zealand rugby, David Havili into the squad as well, and Quinn Tupaia after impressive performances for the Chiefs. And the much congested back three of Barrett, Bridge, Jordan, McKenzie and Reese. Sometimes now it's all about selection. Who's going to actually play? Ian Foster joins us now. And Fozzie, let's start with the fact there's 36 players there, 3 test matches. How did you come to the number that you felt you needed for this first campaign of the year?
Yeah, I think if you look back at history, we've generally picked about up to sort of 35 in this campaign. It's straight after Super Rugby, so there's been a bit of a war of attrition in that area. But I think when you look at the year, we've got up to 15 test matches this year. We've got 4 in a row in September, and we could have 5 on the end of year tour. And so we saw this as a great opportunity to pick a squad of 36. We're going to need that sort of number to get through this year, and so we might as well start where we think we're going to be.
Fozzie, throughout these test matches, is the aim to give everyone some game time?
We'll wait and see. You know, like I don't think there's certainly no guarantees. We've never said there's going to be any guarantees when you get picked in the squad. It's you know, players have earned the right to be there and through hard work and performance. But now we need to see a bit of a change of gears. We need to lift a little bit, and so it's going to be how players prepare in that. But like I said, there's a lot of opportunity this year when you look through the amount of games we've got. So clearly we do want to build a bit of depth.
Fozzie, only 30 tests to go to the next World Cup. What sort of growth are you looking for from the squad and maybe some of the members within it?
Well, it's nice to have more than 6 tests from last year, isn't it? You know, so I think we've actually got a year that we can actually plan a program of development through it. I think when you look at it, there's a lot, because we were limited to number of tests last year. We didn't try to expand our game too much in that short time period, but this year we needed to grow that. And you know, I know we've been working hard on both the attack side and the defence side of our game to how we can grow where we've been, and you know, particularly the defensive side of the game. We've been more aggressive, and we've seen a bit of that in Super Rugby, and we've got to make sure we take that through. And with the attack stuff, we've got to have a higher skill-based game, and one of the things we're working on is really growing that area.
And I guess some of the learnings from the World Cup and last year, I mean, is that influencing the changes that you want to see on the field and into the selection?
Oh, there's no doubt. I think, you know, it's the key thing is that our goal is to be number one in the world. That's what we want, and everything we do is about chasing that. And I think, you know, we haven't been in that position for a couple of years now, and so how are you going to get there? It's going to be through hard work and basically through a real commitment to preparation from the whole group. But you know, how we're going to get there is we've got to keep growing. I mean, there were some massive highs last year, and I think we showed when we got the balance of our game right, when we got the ball in hand versus kicking versus playing what's in front of us, those components right, that we were a lethal team, and we've just got to make sure we do that a lot more consistently.
With Sam Cane out injured, was Sam Whitelock an easy choice for captain?
Yeah, look, he was. You know, he's an outstanding All Black, and I don't use that word very often, but I think he deserves that. And he's been a key part of our leadership group, Hannon there for a while and for a long time actually. And so he knows the team, he knows where we're going, and got a great relationship with Sam Cane. And so, you know, Sam's still going to have some involvement in the early stages of setting the year up, but we've got a lot of faith in Sam and Sam Whitelock. I'll make sure I use his surnames, but he also links really well with the leadership group that we've got, and I've got a lot of faith in that group that will do well in that space.
Fozzie, I'm going to ask you the fact, did players in the last few weeks play their way in terms of the way that the competition played out, and did some guys, you know, show you something they hadn't seen before, you hadn't seen?
Yeah, well, it's a very unique year, wasn't it? Because if you looked at the first part of Super Rugby Aotearoa, you know, basically there was trial after trial, wasn't there? And so, you know, we learned a lot about how they deal with their mates and deal with New Zealanders. And then the Trans-Tasman competition, it just exposed them to something slightly different. So I wouldn't say people played their way in the last few weeks, but, you know, like we went to the final and there was probably 2 players that were having a close look just to confirm a few things. And it's more the finals that we get particularly excited about, because that's when they get a bit of pressure on them, and that's a little bit closer to Test match rugby.
Fox, we talk about having depth, but every year, last year was probably number 8. You know, we were looking for someone new coming along. Which was the hardest position for you guys to discuss and select this year?
Well, in some ways, at the start of last year, most of the interviews we were doing was about lock. You know, we had a lot of issues at lock, and here we are, we've picked 5 locks, and you know, we're delighted with our depth in that space. So things turn around pretty quickly. But the biggest conversations, I think, have probably been midfield. And, you know, with Jack's injury and with Nani's departure, it's left some clear opportunity there. And so we've sort of picked 5 loose forwards, 5 midfielders, I should say, and 2 of those can play on the wing. So we've got plenty of versatility there. But Anton's elbow injury has given us a chance, you know, I think, to bring Quinn in as a young player. And, you know, we haven't got a lot of 12s. We've got a lot of midfielders who like 13. And so it's good to bring him we see him as a specialist 12 and to explore that as well.
And can I just lastly ask you about the fact, the decision not to tell the players before the announcement tonight? You know, because in the past, a lot of the times on the phone, giving them a little bit of a heads up, but to keep those players in the dark, run me your logic behind that.
Well, I'm sure I've been set up as a head coach, because I know that I have to make a few calls before 7 o'clock, and they're to the All Blacks who have missed out, and so they're always tough conversations. Shandy and Gilbert, they pick up the happy calls after this team gets announced. But look, it's all designed to. I think it's a special day, you know. And if you think about the 2 Ethans and Finlay and Quinn right now, they're just finding out, and I don't know what environment they're in, but hopefully they've got, you know, people around them that have been a massive part of their career to date, and they can enjoy that moment with them. And then we'll get down to business tomorrow.
And as you know, the hard work starts now, right? As a coach, and this is your first team. We're looking forward to seeing this group of young men coming together and performing in the All Black jersey. Thanks as always for joining us. We're looking forward to joining you a lot more over the course of the rest of the season. Well, after a stellar 2021, Damian McKenzie, he is back in black once again.
There is so much riding on this kick.
Damian McKenzie, will he be the man?
It is over!
And he wins it!
McKenzie, he scored! What a try, what a finish!
When one man must stand up, of course it's Damian McKenzie.
Well, he is a weapon at fullback and a pretty handy number 10 as well. Damian McKenzie, congratulations. I would hazard a guess that no matter how many times you hear your name getting read out or seeing your name in print, that it would ever get old.
No, it doesn't get old. Yeah, really stoked to be able to be named in this series. So, yeah, to get your name read out is always special, and you know, special for the guys who got named for the first time as well. So, yeah, it's great to be back in the squad.
Absolutely. Look, the team's been reminiscing about when they got named in the All Blacks for the first time. What's your story?
Yeah, I was actually 2016. I was in Sydney after a Chiefs game, and I got a phone call to say I'd made the team, and yeah, it's surreal, you know. Yeah, and I guess until your name gets read out on TV, it's when it's actually happened. So, yeah, again, always nice to hear your name on tally.
Does the adrenaline lessen over the years?
No, it doesn't. I think you know, it's always exciting and to be named in the All Black squad, and probably the most exciting thing tonight was just seeing the new faces in the squad, particularly teammate Quinn Tupaea. He's had a great season, so really stoked for him and the rest of the new boys playing as well.
Brilliant. Well, when you made your All Black debut in 2016, it was against Argentina, so it's an exciting prospect that you'll be playing the Pumas this year, international, back and alive again.
Yeah, definitely. It's been nice to get a game against them, and obviously we've got a series against the Fijians and Tongans first, so that's going to be pretty physical and tough. So we'll look forward to that, and then, yeah, there's obviously a lot more to go on throughout the year, so it's exciting times ahead.
You've been named as, or described as, the most influential performer this year. What were your work-ons this year to earn a title like that?
Yeah, it's, yeah, for me it was
Don't be humble. You've had an outstanding season.
Yeah, it was probably just more simplifying my game a little bit more, and not trying to do too much. And yeah, I was enjoying my footy a lot more this year, and obviously it helps when the boys are going well and we're getting a few wins. And yeah, for me it was just about simplifying things and just enjoying myself, and managed to do that. So hopefully I can continue that for the rest of the year.
Well, we know that the 10 versus 15 debate is going to be recycled again. The conversation is going to restart. Grant Fox isn't here, Ian Foster's not here. What position makes you happiest?
I think they're in the room next door, so they'll probably hear this. But, oh, look, played a bit of 10 this year and obviously 15. So, yeah, if I can have a crack at 15 this year, it'd be nice. And whether it's coming into 10 late in the game, that'll be exciting too. But, you know, like I said, I'm pretty happy just to be here and, you know, make sure I train hard, put my best foot forward and see what the coaches reckon.
Now, we do have a series of riches at 10 and 15, of which you are one. Is there any inter-squad competition? Should there be? Because let's face it, you all want the start.
Yeah, definitely. It's, you know, competition's great. And obviously, unfortunate for some guys who probably are on the verge who missed out tonight, but competition makes everyone work a lot harder. And so we're always pushing each other each week for the best of each other. And yeah, we're making sure we do that throughout the year and obviously take advice from each other where we need it.
Very diplomatic. All right, so what does 2021 look like for you? What are your personal goals?
I guess, yeah, trying to nail down a spot in the 23 would be great, and yeah, I'll be doing the best I can to do that. There's obviously haven't played footy in about a month. Yeah, haven't been allowed to, so it'd be nice just to get back into it, and yeah, and hopefully nail down a spot would be great.
All right, so what are any words of wisdom, some advice for the young ones? You've mentioned you've got a teammate, 4 new caps tonight, pretty exciting for them. What are your words of wisdom?
Yeah, really excited. I was probably more excited for them, to be fair, that they got their names read out, and particularly probably the first time they've heard that. And yeah, I think for them, just be themselves. That's what's got them into this position. So just have fun and you get stuck in and enjoy it.
I bet you can't wait. All the best for 2021.
Thank you very much.
All right, D-Max keeping 10 versus 15 pretty close to his chest. Let's see if maybe Grant Fox can allude a little bit more to where they see him.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've managed, Bernie, we've managed to track down one of the new caps and one of the Chiefs playmakers in Damian McKenzie. What does he do? he gets and promotes other players in his sides. And Quinn Tupaea is now part of an All Black squad, and he is joining us via Zoom. He has been preparing with the Māori All Blacks. Quinn, congratulations, well done. Your initial reaction, and have you had time to ring anyone special? Was it family first?
Yeah, thanks, guys. Yeah, we were just having dinner with the Māori All Blacks. Then, you know, super surprised to hear my name called. Got a bit of a cheer from the boys, and then shot outside into the lobby to call my mum. And a few tears there because they didn't actually watch the announcement. They thought it was on later, so yeah, they missed the whole thing.
Quinn, sorry we've taken you away from your meal, mate. I'm sure that someone will keep a little plate aside. But what do you think your superpower is? Why do you think you've been selected, and what's the thing that you most?
Yeah, just overall game. I'm pretty confident in carrying the ball and working hard around the field, and then in defence as well. Pretty confident in there too. So yeah, looking forward to getting in the mix and. Getting off the other midfielders around me, and I've been lucky enough to play with Anton so far. And very exciting times.
Quinn, congratulations. Obviously playing a little bit of 12 this year and a bit on the wing. Have you got a favourite position?
I think I've just been thrown into the wing late in games, but yeah, definitely prefer to play in the midfield, whether it's 12 or 13. So. Yeah, probably in the midfield.
It's always the goal is to become part of an All Black squad. Have you heard the guys talked about it? Have you talked to them about what it's like to be part of that environment? Are there little things already that you know being part of the Chiefs that are going to transfer right across to being part of an All Black squad? And how much can you, I suppose, not wait to finally get in camp?
Yeah, I haven't really talked to anyone about it because I don't expect it being named. But just hearing Anton speak about it, saying you feel like a superhero when you put on the jersey. So excited to get into the environment and just learn as much as I can and have some fun.
Quinn, you're obviously in a pretty special environment at the moment. You're also going to get 2 lots of kit, mate, which is always a bonus. But what happens this week? Do you play? Don't know that stuff yet?
Yeah, 2 lots of kit's awesome. Probably divvy it out along Stefano, but yeah, I think I'm shooting home tomorrow, and then go into All Blacks camp, but not sure what happens after that. So.
Pack your bags, mate. Pack your bags. Don't take any risks from between now and then. Get yourself to the airport and you get home safe and sound. I mean, is it almost hard to believe for you? You know, the fact it's come so quick. You're just a young man, and I mean, is it a dream? Was this the dream?
Yeah, of course. All Blacks has always been the dream, and I didn't really expect it to be named, but you know, super grateful and super happy and excited to be named. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, thank you very much for joining us on short notice. Congratulations, well done. It's very much a special time, and well done. What a great performance you've done getting yourself to this point. But you know well and truly it all starts right now. Well done.
Thank you very much.
I look at the performances of the Chiefs this year, and they were looking for a little bit of punch in the midfield, Hannah, and Quinn Tupaea, particularly on the back end of Super Rugby, Aotearoa, was just outstanding. Yeah,
he really brought that, and also a kind of a different style than what we've got playing in Super Rugby at the moment. Hits the ball hard, tackles well, and is really that rock in midfield.
We've always had a Ma'anono, you know, Ngani Lamati leaving was, you know, thinking about that gap, and it's really nice to hear Fozzie talk about a specialist 12 that's going to get you over the advantage line, that real tough ball carrier, and, you know, he's got a great opportunity to fill what has always been a traditional role for us, especially probably in the last 10 years when we got away from 2 playmakers in midfield. Get the ball over advantage. Ryan Harden, he showed that with the Chiefs.
And the ability to spot holes, to spot gaps, and the fact his experience of playing with Anton Leonard-Brown, playing with Damian McKenzie, particularly at 10, Hannah. Yep. When we start talking about big squads, combinations become really important. Yeah, that's the interesting question, isn't it? So young midfield that they've chosen, will they play the combinations from Super Rugby? Probably a smart way to start, I'd say. Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to see him in an All Black jersey. We have announced tonight as well there is a new All Black captain. Sam Whitelock is the man in charge, and you'd have to say in 2021 he has found his very best form.
But look at the Crusaders arriving en masse.
Chipped away beautifully by Whitelock. Now Whitelock swings it off to Mo'unga.
And it was the Highlanders who came up offside, and Cody Taylor.
Well, I am here with the new All Black captain, but he's been here before. Sammy, I mean, how smooth was the transition after Sam Cane got injured, and when were you told?
Yeah, Fozzie told me a couple of weeks ago, so it was really nice just to take that time, and I wasn't playing that week, so I was allowed to kind of just sit on it myself, and I actually didn't tell Mum and Dad, so Mum and Dad were just found out now. They were ringing and asking, have you heard anything, and I kind of gave them nothing, and then all of a sudden they're ringing my wife Hannah going, oh, has Sam heard anything? So sorry to do that to Mum and Dad, but it's really nice that they got to find out with everyone else.
It is very nice. The reality is too, there's some guys that have been called for the first time, and must bring back memories for you about how that was like, and sort of who gives the messages to these young guys? Is it the guys from the back seat?
Yeah, it's funny you say that. Even doing this with you, mate, I still feel like you're my back seat because you're the original guy there when I first came in, and the hard one is, you come in, you don't want to say too much, and you guys did an awesome job with us. You engaged us, you talked to us and asked us questions, and that's what myself I've got to do, and also the experienced guys that are the back seat, the Dane Coles, etc.
I mean, you love expectation. The reality is when you're playing against a Tongan team that hasn't sort of come together, haven't played a lot of rugby, the expectation of you guys to win and win well is always going to be. You've embraced it, but what's the pass mark, for a captain like yourself in terms of the Steinlager series?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think the main thing is, it's going to be a big year. There's 15 test matches, supposedly, and we're going to use everyone. I think we're going to need everyone as a squad. 36 guys being named, experienced, some are new to it. It's going to be different for every person, but for myself is going out and playing good rugby first. Anyone that's been captain before knows that if you play good rugby, it's really easy to lead. If you're struggling on the field, all of a sudden leadership becomes hard. So that's what it, for me, will be, is go out there, play good rugby first, and then everything else will flow in behind it.
Is it your style, just getting out there and making sure you lead from the front? Because you must have had to, you've been here for a very long time, you must have had to evolve that sort of style over the years.
Yeah, I think when I was younger, I was probably just worried about myself, and went out there and just tried to go hard and play well. Probably off the field where I've had the most development and I'm learning, trying to work on the softer side of it rather than just saying, right, Millsy, let's go get into it. It's working out how to get the best out of some people, and I think that's the hard thing. You got to work out, does someone need a carrot or a stick, and at times everyone's different, so some people need a big old stick at times, and other people just need that little bit of encouragement to get out there and give it a go.
I'm going to ask you one last question. It's the hardest one of the day, mate. What sort of perks do you get? What extra perks do you get as the captain?
Yeah, good question. You've been there before, but normally you get your own room, but I'm pretty sure that we've got 36, so we're sharing this campaign, which is actually really good. It's nothing worse than being stuck in your room where you're bored and you're looking for someone to talk to or catch up with.
Thanks very much. Congratulations once again, Sam.
Cheers, mate.
Well, there you have it, Jeff. He gets his own room. One man that's right beside you right now, Grant Fox, I'm sure he'll get his own room as well.
Oh, yeah, he knows that. And he can get on tour. Look, it's not often we make Foxy wait, and appreciate you giving us an extra couple of minutes. Look, everyone talks about Super Rugby form and you talk about players. How do you compare what a player's done from Test match rugby to what they're doing at Super Rugby when you start talking about selection?
Well, form and the history in our dues is important because that's a known quantity for us. Particularly experienced guys, we know they can step up. So if they don't go quite so well during Super Rugby, we know what we can get out of them. So they're familiar to us. Guys who are, I guess, we're picking for the first time, Super Rugby is the only thing we've got to go on. And that form's also important. So we marry the two together to get the outcome. Because if you just went on Super Rugby form alone, we'd be changing the team all the time, and that wouldn't do us any good.
Foxy, arguably you've picked three of the best playmakers in the world in the team, in Barrett, Mo'unga and McKenzie. How do you fit them all in?
Yeah, not going to be easy. Going to be good competition, isn't there? So, and that's healthy. And look, they've all been in good. Well, Boda's been playing in Japan, so he'll get eased back in. Richie's been doing what Richie does, playing very well. And Damien's gone up to 10 quite a bit, but goes up from 15 to 10 in the playmaker role, and again has done that extremely well. So we can carry two specialist 10s plus Damo, so that gives us flexibility.
Foxy, you've been a selector for a long, long time now. We hear a lot about the depth of New Zealand rugby. I mean, this year, were there any concerns for you when you started looking? I'm not sort of talking about the first two, but maybe from 3 and after?
I think Fozzie's probably covered a lot of this, but midfield was a lot of discussion. Halfback too. We don't have TJ available in July, so getting the third halfback was a lot of discussion. And getting the balance on the front row right versus guys who can set piece versus guys who are a little bit more mobile around the park, because we all know if you don't get your set piece right, it's a hard game to play. So again, trying to get that blend right, how we pair props up on the field, who starts, who comes off the bench, how we got to make sure that if you got one who's maybe not quite so mobile, you fit him with another guy who's a bit more mobile, so you don't get compromised too much. But and look, who to leave out. Back three and loose forwards. A lot of discussion there, but more about, God, who are the unlucky guys who are going to miss?
Let's talk about your game then, your selector side, and of course you would have learnt a lot from last season. Yep. Are you looking to adapt the way you play in 2021, looking forward, what's going to possibly happen in 2023?
Yeah, I don't think we're that far ahead at the moment. I mean, look, there's some investment in young guys, yes, right? But we can't look too far ahead because we lose sight of the now. And the now is really important because you heard Fozzie say we want to be number one, and we're not there at the moment, and that's where we want to be. So that means about performing now. So that's what we're about. And you talked about how we want to grow our game. 6 tests last year didn't give us too much of an opportunity. A much bigger bank of tests this year is going to give us that opportunity to start developing the game in terms of how we really want to play it.
Foxy, a lot of debate amongst us on the breakdown crew, but specialist or best team on the field?
Well, we'll always say the best team on the field. But there are varying opinions about specialist and best team on the field, isn't there? So when we pick a guy, we believe he's the best in that position for that particular game. So we've got a large group of players, bearing in mind that 36 is only one more than we've often carried in what was the June test window anyway. So anyone who's surprised by a large number shouldn't be, because we've been there or thereabouts anyway. Because development's part of what we need to do, because we don't get tours like you and I and you used to go on in the good old days. But we need utility value too, JK, because because part of that's about you can only pick 8 on the bench. So we need guys who can cover positions. And some guys are just really good footballers who can play well in a number of positions, and we've got a few of those.
As always, I know the debate would have been robust. You guys are thorough as it gets. It's an opportunity now, Foxy. We can't wait to see this group, this team of players come together. As always, it's enlightening to talk to you. Could talk to you all night, but we haven't got that long. All right, but what we're going to do, we need to talk from one of the other selectors. Okay, let's just hold one back then, because we're going to talk to John Plumtree in a moment then. You talk about props for a moment, the fact you've lost a significant amount of experience. Joe Moody,
yep.
You lose that off of Tawangafasi at the moment, not quite there. Is that a concern, that lack of experience up front?
Yes, but it also gives some other guys an opportunity and to get some growth into them. So, I mean, if we look at the personnel we've picked, Tyrell's been a project. We're still trying to get more growth into. Nepo's pretty established. Angus has come back again, and, he started Super Rugby reasonably slowly, but boy, his form in the last few weeks of Super Rugby Aotearoa was very, very good. Carl's rock solid at scrum time, and that's the guy I was talking about. George Bowers put quite a bit of weight on, got bigger, and, he used to play in the loose forward, so he's got a very good mobile skill set with good handling skills, and Ethan's just a young guy who's come through. And the interesting thing about Ethan is that we think there's a lot of growth in him at scrum time yet, but round the field, he is the second highest tackler of props during games. His average is really high, and his tackle completion rate's really high. So don't underestimate. He's a big block of a man. But he gets around the field and does a bit of work.
I love the fact you've taken John Plumtree's all of Plum's chat. That's
did he say that?
No, he's coming up next. And now Mills has got to go to another
Plum.
angle. That's why we've put Mills on, that he can adapt very, very quickly. Let's talk now to the forward coach for the All Blacks.
It has put me off a little bit. I want to yarn to you about the two Ethans, the forward specialties. But first of all, Ethan Blackadder. What's impressed you the most about the way Blackadder's played?
Yeah, there was a few things. Obviously, for one, I was really happy that consistently he was on the park the whole year. He's got a little bit of a history of injury, and it was great to see that, he kept those injuries at bay and played some good, consistent footy. Love the intensity he brings in the contact areas, but probably the later half of the campaign, I was impressed to see him start using a little bit more footwork, and he brought his offloading game into play. particularly against the Aussies. I thought was really good. So yeah, he's got unbelievable commitment. On the park, he accelerates into contact and just loves that part of it. Sometimes to the detriment of his body, but he's had a good season.
He's also very versatile. I mean, is it a conversation you need to have? Where do you see him in terms of the position he plays?
Yeah, look, we saw him mainly play 6 for the Crusaders, but it was great to see him play 7 against the Reds. I was looking forward to see him play in that position to see if he could handle it, and had a conversation with Rose about that, which was great. I thought, Ethan can play pretty much every position on the park, in the loose forwards, and just a really good athlete, and that enables him to do that. But he loves the combat side of it as well, and a couple of things for him to work on when he comes in. But looking forward to it.
And Ethan de Groot, the young prop, he must be very very excited at the moment. What sort of strengths does he bring to this All Black pack?
Yeah, look, Ethan. At the start of the season, I looked at the size of him, and I thought he's a big boy. They're coming on there for the Highlanders, and but what really impressed me was as the season went along, and I thought he obviously worked really well with Clark down there, but he just started, his work rate improved, and some conversations with Fiki around his scrummaging. He was happy with what he was seeing there, and and he just loves bringing intensity into the collision as well. Saw him accelerate into contact off line and off some of Nuggy's passes, and loved that side of it. And then also the tackle, his tackle works right up there. I think he was in the 90%, for a big prop. That's pretty impressive. So, I think, Scotty McLeod's going to be happy with that. So, seeing a pretty good project there for us to work on, plenty of upside to that kid, and I think he's going to enjoy it when he comes in.
You've lost a bit of experience too in the propping department. Who picks up that slack?
Obviously, we've got Carl there. I mean, Carl's been pretty consistent for the Blues all year. I thought Carl's he played pretty well actually. His scrummaging's destructive at times, and he's got a real opportunity to step up now as a probably leading loose head until Moods comes back, and that's what we want, isn't it? We want players doing that. But George Bauer's done really well for the Crusaders this year with Moods getting injured and getting more time as well. So I'd probably be surprised that those young fellas will put a bit of pressure on Carl as well.
Congratulations, wonderful squad.
Okay, thanks, Mills.
Well, join us after the break. We're here at Sky City, the All Blacks experience, and a few of the older crew got to check out what that was like.
Just like when you did it, mate. Yeah. Bang on, bang on.
I used to have a TV like that when I grew up.
Just gone through the All Blacks experience. We've come now to the interactive part. We had some games, we had some challenges. Of course, we faced the haka. We've seen the history of the All Blacks, but also the community game. And now it's time to test ourselves on what we can do. And JK's working on his passing game.
Oh, come on, hit it. I got that.
You old enough that they used to throw it in the line-out?
Oh! Get up!
Do you know that I missed wingers throwing into the line-out by a year?
Shall I go like JK would have? Go to the old...
Grant
Is it
Batty.
that one there, the old Grant Batty?
Yeah. Brilliant.
Oh,
look at that.
I'll take that.
Bring that
Dead
back.
straight.
We'll get us a lottery.
Lovely, lovely. Striking it beautifully, I'm concerned, to be fair. Quick toe hack, here it is.
+5 accuracy.
Uh-oh. Ah!
I enjoyed that. Yeah, it was really good. The haka was amazing, really inspiring, like a bit tingly, eh?
First time I've been here before, so
Yeah,
with
yeah.
my kids, it was awesome.
I missed another one there.
Oh, I missed another one. This is where it is, this is where we're up to, the All Black jerseys. Who's it gone to in the last one? Up there, 1192, Cullen Grace. Tonight, it might be the chance for some of these guys to get one step closer, right?
Yep.
To getting the name on the wall. I can't wait to hear. I want to hear who's it going to be. Yeah. Who's going to be 1193?
Do you think there'll be some new ones? I don't know if there'll be some new ones.
I think there'll be some new ones.
Really?
Yep. Yep.
I love it when there's new ones.
It's fun, right?
Yeah.
Kia ora and welcome back to the All Blacks Experience at Sky City. The announcement of the first All Black squad for 2021. New Zealand chairman, rugby chairman, Stuart Mitchell has announced the side. Ethan de Groot, one of the possible new caps, Ethan Blackadder as well. Sam Whitelock announced as the captain. 5 locks, the choice to make 7 loose forwards. Plenty of depth, a squad of 36 that comes together. And if we look at the backs, Finlay Christie, after some outstanding performances for the Blues, has forced his way into the All Black squad. First 5s and Barrett and Mwanga. Quinn Tupaia, who's not a surprise selection, his form for the Chiefs very, very good. Anton Leonard-Brown looks as though he will not be available to selection, possibly till the first test against Fiji, maybe the second, and possibly the only unlucky maybe centre back 3 player is Lester Fainga'anuku from the Crusaders, but hot property getting an opportunity being part of this All Black scene. Mills, your initial reaction to that group of players, the balance that they've put together, and how do you see that combination without the experience they've got up front they've had in the past?
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be the talking spot. Really, is the how they can move on. Yes, they have got guys like Angus Ta'avao and also Karl Tu'unukuafe, but how are they going to get that? Because it's always been a pillar in terms of the All Black, the style that we play, that we make sure we set the scene up front. So yeah, they've lost a bit of experience. I like the balance of it, and like you've mentioned, I think guys that have played really well. Fainga'anuku I thought was unlucky, but obviously Quinn Tupaia, he brings something different. The All Blacks selectors have obviously wanted to see JK.
Yeah, I've just been writing down. I think the back row and the centres is a really interesting conversation. I put 13 against Enor for you, Goldie, and then Havili 12, Rico 13, Anton 13, and Quinn 12. So actually, we're quite thin there, I reckon. But they said that, and then the loose forwards, I've gone down and written 6, 6, 8, 8, and there's only one sort of 7. Real out and out 7 if you count Artie as an 8. So I think that, but like Foxy said, I think we're all just going to have to get used to players being that good that they're going to have to cover. And I think Plum spoke about maybe Ethan playing 7, Hannah, which you just have to get on with, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. And I think I'm really pleased that they've rewarded some players for their form in Super Rugby this year, and also obviously the return of Barrett and Retallick. Good to see them back in black.
Yeah, and the fact that we talked about lock a couple of years ago, and that's what Grant Fox and Fozzie talked about as well. The fact that all of a sudden we've got 5 viable options. How quickly would you expect maybe Brodie to come back into the mix, Hannah? Do you take some time with him to make sure he gets up to speed?
Yeah, he probably needs to be assessed when he comes back into the group, right? He's obviously, when we spoke to him last week, lost a little bit of weight, and how that fits into the group. So get him back into the group, maybe a week or 2, and put him back in.
What about how we play?
Bag's not to do his contact assessment.
No,
do not want to do his contact assessment. Anyone available?
I'm really fascinated about the way they put these teams together and combinations. For me, Mills, they look at some of what they've done in Super Rugby, guys who have played together, and do they give them a chance to build on that, or are they? It's a blank sheet and we go, you know what, like JK said and what Foxy said, is it about time putting the best players out there and we work on our game?
I think they'll have a blueprint in terms of the style that they want to play. I think they would have learned a lot from what happened last year, and possibly implement most. There's no use reinventing the wheel, but I think it's the little tweaks, and given the times, you can't really test them. I think, this leading into this, if you're going to focus on purely the fact, the Aussie game is where you want to hit your best team, then they probably have got a nice relaxed and sort of experimental sort of process before that in terms of Tonga and also Fiji. So I guess in some ways it's going to possibly play into their head.
I don't know, Mills. I don't know if you've actually got that luxury. Last year it was really interesting. They didn't have a lot of test matches to get ready. And I think you're right. You could do that, but you actually don't have a lot of time to get ready for, the Australian side. So I reckon that's going to be a difficult one for them. You asked Hannah, you asked Fozzie, what do you do? And he says, no promises. But, I'd be getting Retallick out there as quick as I could, because I think, you just got to get him back in the saddle.
Hannah, I've got a sense that what happens from Monday to Friday is going to be really important for a lot of these players. Do you get that sense as well? The fact that, yes, we know on the weekends that they should have a competitive advantage over Tonga and Fiji. But during the week, is that the chance for players to step up and make their mark?
Yeah, really important. It'll be interesting, the Blues and the Highlanders, how they come in. Hopefully fresh after a weekend of celebrating.
Maybe not today. Maybe not fresh today, but when they come into camp. But important for everyone to
Yeah,
step
really
up.
important. And not just on the field, not just the technical, tactical stuff, but also coming in, learning, understanding the culture and the structures that are set up in the All Blacks. That part of it's really important also.
Oh, I think it's an exciting selection, though, Mills, because the fact that we're never short on talent. That's something we don't lack here in New Zealand. Can we play an expansive game? Is that the best way for us to go? If you start talking about the fact we're going to, for the first time since 2019, play South Africa, and they were to come off the back of a series against the Lions. Now, that's exciting to me. I can't wait for that matchup.
Well, the balance has got to be right. I mean, it's always been one of our, I suppose, our positives. Our strengths is the ability to be able to offload and play out wide, but also, you've got to mix it up with the balance of the forwards and winning that dominance up front. If you don't get that, then we can't play the flash. And we've struggled over the years when we've gone to that too early, Hannah. And so I guess the balance for me, they've got to get it right.
Yeah, they do. And I wonder if Super Rugby very much, they played that wide, expansive game. They used crossfield kicks. There was a lot of tries scored out wide, but agree they need to get it right up front first.
Said the words that I like to hear, JK, heads up rugby, where they play what's in front of them. Did we go away from that a couple of seasons ago? We started talking about this dual pivot for a long, long time, the two playmakers.
Yeah, and I think what I've seen is a real step up in quality from the Northern Hemisphere, and they know their style really clearly. I think the last few World Cups we've come up with some innovation. We came up with the pods and then passing out the back. Is there any innovation left? And if you do have some innovation coming, when do you bring it out? And I think that's really hard in our game. Wayne Smith spoke about it on this show a couple of months ago. What are we going to bring? Because we always lead in innovation. And when you think about the game, it's hard to know. Is it more kicking, less kicking, different types of kicking? So I think there's some stuff that you could possibly experiment with this year, but you can't show all your cards either because you've only got 30 tests left.
Yeah, absolutely. And Han, you talked about the ability off the field. There are some players who enjoy the camera more than others. Angus Ta'avao is one of those players. He's standing by with Bernie.
Yes, but may I say, Jeff, that I'm very relieved that the coach Ian Foster is out of earshot because we had a bit of a moment, a wee crisis. Angus Ta'avao was on this side of me, but no, come on Angus, quick swap. And I thought maybe this is his pretty side. He doesn't want to be on this side. Is that your pretty side?
Oh, both sides go quite well, but...
We had an issue with the ear.
We're only supposed to be in Townsville for 5 days. We end up in Sydney for a couple of weeks. And me growing up in Raglan, I love the beach. I was down at the beach every day and I got a bit of a blocked left ear. So trying to, shake the old leftover salt water out. But
so he can't hear me on that side. So hence, that's why we position like this. But it's okay. He's all right. He's all right, Fossey. Okay. So congratulations, first and foremost. Does it ever wear off the shine of making the All Blacks?
I think it's... I'll say no. That's the initial thing. But I suppose my journey coming in as probably an older player in 2018 and then missing out last year and having injuries and sort of coming back this year and playing, as well as I thought I could. And you still never know. You think you put your hand up, but I was lucky enough to get the call. It's still a surprise.
2018 and 14 tests on from that, and you're still knocking it out of the park. Who did you tell?
Just my wife. So Shandy called me on Wednesday to be here tonight. I think they wanted the handsome guy, so I was one of the top picks straight away.
Clearly.
And I thought, do I tell my mum and dad? And I thought, nah, I'll let them have a surprise. So shout out to you, mum and dad at home. Hopefully you weren't too nervous leading up. I think I had a few nervous texts from her, so I think she'll be pretty happy.
Oh, they'll be very proud of you. But mum will be worried about the ear. The ear is going to be okay. Resilient, resolve. There are some of the words to describe you. You've had quite the journey, haven't you? Quite a story. Is that a fair way to sum up you as a player and a person?
Yeah, I mean, when I first got that call from Shandy in 2018, I was by myself down in the Naki. We were about to fly up to play counties, and it just hit me. You always want to hear your name in the team or get a phone call, but it actually happened. And I laughed and I had tears, and I was just looking. I had a quite nice house down in the Naki. I was looking out on the beautiful ocean, and it was just all these things have fallen into place. And I think back to then and what happened before that, and then last year with this rare VMO tear that, you know, only my surgeon only done 3 of them. And this is a guy that's doing knees, you know, 10 to 12 a day for years. So to be here standing talking to you, wearing this polo and being called back into the camp, I mean, it's just special. And I know my family are really proud, and got my son and my wife back home watching. So you get, I don't know, you get little chills and the emotion comes up and you can just feel it.
I'm getting the chills on your behalf.
Yeah,
and those feelings that you're describing now, there are 4 new caps tonight going through exactly that, probably times 1,000. What are your thoughts for them, and perhaps words of advice?
Oh, I would have loved to have seen, you know, been a fly on the wall in their room where they were, because, you know, all the other boys didn't get told. So, you know, one, Quinn Tupaia, you know, good mate of mine, Chiefs man, called into the Māori All Blacks. So he's probably thinking, oh, you know, there's no real chance of me getting in here. And he was probably in the team room having dinner. They had it up on the wall. Yeah, I'm speculating here. So, you know, I suppose the feeling for them is that elation, the shot, their phone's probably blowing up. So take your time, boys, on the phone. You know, it might take a while to get through the messages, but reply to all of them, you know, a bit of love and respect. But I think this environment's set up for you to succeed, and you got to make the most of that. You got the best coaches, the best players, nutritionists, trainers, like the whole works, and it's all there for you to do well. So all I'd say is come in and make the most of that and be yourself, because if you sort of, I don't know, let the pressure take over and you don't express yourself and do what you've done to get you there, then you're not going to put your best foot forward. So all I can say, be yourself, boys, have a bit of fun, get around it.
Brilliant, great advice. And any problems, come see Uncle Angus. But whatever you do, don't take the back seat of the bus. Big trouble.
Yeah, don't do that.
I got nowhere near the back seat of the bus. Guys, he loves a chat, does he? Loves a chat. A lot of guys, there's a few guys I want to talk about who have had an opportunity in and around the environment. David Havili. You think about the transition he's made from being a fullback, outside back, Mills, to being a 12. Significant change for him, filled the shoes of Ryan Crotty. How did this guy make himself such a standout this season?
I think it's his skill set. And I think if he's totally honest, he's probably a little bit more reluctant to go into that role. But things fall into place. And when you've got a skill set like he has, you know, defensively, but this is his attacking stuff. You know, he's got a nice awareness of the game, his offloading game, but also, you know, his wide pass. You know, so it just takes a little bit of getting used to, you know, moving into that position, Hannah. But I think, for me, really, you know, his ability and as his nous as well, and the skill set definitely for me.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see him play in this Test series. Really got a chance to make that 12 jersey his own, and agree, great skill set. Also has the ability to see space coming from the outside backs and understands that and can talk as well. So.
Look, he's played outstandingly well, as has Luke Jacobson. And you think about another, coming from adversity, getting over injuries. JK, one for me, I look at the way, the versatility he brings. He was a big part of the Chiefs, and you talked about it, Hannah, as well. Rewarding form for guys who stepped up to the mark. They had big impacts, Havili, Jacobson, on their Super Rugby franchises.
Yeah, when the Chiefs sort of had that turnaround, you know, they were facing the worst ever record or something, and he was one of those players that even when they weren't winning was still stepping up. And then after that, when the team was down, I remember Mills, you and I down watching the Blues, and he just stood up that night, you know, at critical times. And so I think Hannah's right. It's really important that those guys that step up at Super Rugby can still see that is their pathway. That's what they need to do. They need to perform. They need to perform under pressure in those big games, and you will get rewarded. I come back to the mix in the loose forwards. I think it's really interesting. But he's certainly a guy that can definitely cover, you know, 2 if not 3 of those positions. And as we move forward, as the game evolves, it looks like that's going to happen, because quite a lot of attrition rate in the loose forwards, and you have to cover you know, a couple of positions. So well done. He'd be really, really proud, because he's had to work for every minute.
There'll be plenty of debate and discussion, and Byrne is possibly going to have her toughest interview of the night. It's time to hear from the media themselves what they think of this fantastic team I believe the All Blacks have put together.
Dozens and dozens of media here waiting to hear the squad for 2021. Senior sports writer for Stuff, Mark Hinton, joins me. Mark, squad of 36, 17 weeks of rugby we've sat through to get our men tonight. What's your reaction to Fozzie's squad?
Well, I think, Bernie, you always think about the new guys, don't you? The guys who, this is going to be their first real chance to become real All Blacks. And there's 4 plus George Bauer, who didn't get a test last year. So there's a little bit of freshness in the squad. So I think we're all enjoying that. But there's also a lot of experience. 36 players to play 3 tests against Tonga and Fiji. I'm not sure, I think that's taking a sledgehammer to hammer in a nail, but I'm sure we'll see a lot of those 36 through these 3 tests, and we will probably see all 5 of those uncapped players play in these tests.
So a lot of opportunity for the players, particularly those newbies. Yes. What do you think would be the key message for those new caps coming into the squad? How do they make their mark? How do they stand out when you're in such a big squad?
Oh, it's always the same with the All Blacks. It's do what you do and don't worry about anything else. That's what they tell pretty much everybody, but particularly the new guys. What got you into this All Black squad is what they want to see. So a guy like Quinn Tupaia, oh my goodness, he will be so excited. And, you know, for him, he can't be too excited. He just has to concentrate on playing the rugby he can, and that'll be the message he gets. And all those experienced guys that he respects will get around him and help him. And same with the guys up front, same with Ethan Blackadder. How great to see son of the great Todd Blackadder in the All Blacks. Fantastic.
Unbelievable, unbelievable. And do you think there's anyone who's been unlucky to miss out on this?
Well, 2 names spring to mind. Alex Hodgman, of course, who was in the squad last year, yes. So he's missed out, and he's missed out to...
Mr. Whainuku as well has missed out?
Absolutely. I mean,
he's one for me,
he's one of the form players, so I think he's that one, probably the unluckiest. And of course, Cullen Grace misses out as well, but he's probably, you know, a victim, I guess, of his teammates. Really big moving year. So 2 or 3 unlucky players, I guess, but the message will be to them, you need to be better.
There you go. Thanks for that, Mark.
No problems.
Let's have a look at the schedule that is coming up. Of course, it's a celebration of the Pacifica game, and the All Blacks, they take on Tonga at Mount Smart Stadium here in Auckland on Saturday the 3rd of July. That's not that far away. We are on air at 6:30 to build up to what's going to be a fantastic occasion at Mount Smart, and then 2 tests against Fiji down in Dunedin at Forsyth Bar Stadium under the roof. Build-up starts there at 6 p.m, and then they go to FMG Stadium in Hamilton, and they take on Fiji for a second time. It'll be interesting to see how these squads adapt and come in. I know they'll be under some real challenges, but initially, I mean, for us, we saw some of the challenges they had last year, JK. You look at this group of players, do you see success? Do you see change? Do you see some young men putting up their hands and taking their opportunity?
Yeah, I think what Angus said was exactly the point. You know, these young guys need to get in there, and they need to bring themselves, their own personality, do not try and be anything you're not. But also you need to front, you need to train hard, you know, you need to make sure that you're out there every single day putting your best foot forward, and then that moment will come for you. You know, I think the nice thing would be to play them during this first series, so let's hope they don't have to wait too long, because you know how it is, you get in the team and then you might have to wait a little while.
Hannah, have you got a preference who you see at first 5 early?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with my original thought, and Moanga at 10 and Barrett at the back.
At the back, and for you, Mills?
I like the squad. You know, I think for me there's plenty of competition throughout the all the positions. But the big talking point would be obviously that, who plays 10, and also the back threes. You know, back threes in the loose department, sort of the makeup of that, but also the back three, 15 in the wingers. So I'm looking forward to seeing the makeup of that and the style the All Blacks are looking to try and implement throughout these 3 test matches.
I couldn't agree more. I'm looking forward to all of that. I'm not sure I'm looking forward to the next part for me of the show. We're going to talk about one of the biggest upsets in Super Rugby history. We're going to catch up with Blues head coach Liam McDonald as JK is smiling away, but also very soon on the breakdown we are talking... Oh, stop it! Cut back to me. What we're doing is we're going to talk about here the greatest All Black 15, and we've been around the country talking to some legends about what it takes to be a great All Black.
What is it for me that makes somebody a great All Black?
What a wizard that are running this is. Can he make it? 5-metre shot, but he's made it. That is staggering stuff.
A great All Black, I don't think, is ever satisfied with where they're at. You're at the top of your game every single time you go out there.
You'll know what he's thinking, you know what he wants. You can see it in his eyes. He's uncompromising in his mission for greatness.
But to be a great All Black, you've got to be driven. You've got to be wanting to be better every day, and you've got to be tough.
Bunce, who's a star in the game. Support coming from Randall. He might go all the way, Frank Bunce. That is one of the most marvellous tries you'll ever see.
Always stands out against the very best opposition.
Nonu gets it. Now Nonu.
He's got Dick.
Israel Dick. Oh, what a try.
Longevity.
Making an impact
at the highest level, at the elite level.
Martin's a brilliant individual try.
Man, I want to be like that person. Well, I want to do what he's doing.
Zenbrook, drop kick, and he's got it! Zenbrook, Carter with his pace, and the skipper is in to score the first try.
Someone, can make a difference in a game, but also change the way teams have to play or play against you.
Away goes Beauden Barrett. Now he sets it up for Ben Smith.
And the people that think just getting in the team's good enough and, I'll just be here until one day I'm not, they're the ones that just come and go. But the guys that get there and actually go, right, now I'm here, it's about what I do from here that will determine what my legacy is.
Now he can kick and chase. He leads the charge. Oh, Jeff Wilson, superb.
And can do the things that he makes himself famous for against the best other players in the world.
When they're consistently good, they get opportunities to actually have influence in the game. So it might be one or two things, but they don't miss those opportunities.
Beauden Barrett, what a try!
The other ones that start to be talked about after years have gone by, they put in that sort of category.
It's how they are. They hate losing. More than that, they hate letting themselves down, they hate letting the team down.
When people say to me, do you miss it now? I say, no. No, because I had the greatest time of my life, but it took everything out of me. To be the best you can be, it has to be the most important thing in your life. And as All Blacks, we like making sacrifices because we play for the greatest club in the world.
I can't even explain it. You've got to live it to feel what it's like. It's 18 long years. We've been in debt for so long, and finally to give something back to the city that's, that's been so long, so yeah.
Awesome, man. I've got to make sure I don't swear on here because I'm pretty bloody over the moon to be able to go out there and do it for our city that, we've been wanting to do for so long. Just want to keep building on this. We'll enjoy tonight and then come next year, hopefully we can keep going. But at the moment, this is what we're enjoying.
As you can see, this group of boys, we work really hard for this, not just this year and past players and the guys that have been here for a very long time. It's just a credit to all of them, and just such a wonderful moment and really, really special. The work that's been put in by these guys has just been phenomenal. So I'm really proud of them and the way they stuck at it. They're a bloody good side.
Hopefully it's the start of a new era for the Blues. We're going to enjoy the night and get around each other.
Anything's possible. Even like as a young kid, you come here and you just watch, and then now look, I got a super title behind my back. So, man, it's crazy. It's just crazy to think like that.
The champs. Look, it was awesome. It was everything I expected and more. They gave up a tough fight, but look, after 80 minutes we were the champs, and I'm just so stoked to bring a title home to Auckland.
It's fantastic. It's been 18 years in the making, and they've showed great tenacity tonight. It was a true final. They had to work really hard to win. I'm so proud of this team.
At the start of every year, we've set out to become champions, and to actually do it, and with this team, I love this team, and there's nowhere else I'd rather be. So, to all the fans, thank you. Love you.
Unreal, man. We're having a party tonight. Party at Dolt's house. Party at Dolt's house.
35,000 people were at Eden Park to watch the Blues have great success. They worked hard and they did it, well, the hard way. It took them the full 80 minutes. Leon McDonald's here. Come on, Leon, come on in. Bring that impressive trophy
There it is.
And at this point, Leon, I say congratulations, and I leave JK.
Thank you, mate.
JK's
Where you
in
going?
charge.
Oh, mate, come on. Don't be like that, Goldie. Ha! Loser. Oh, sorry. Leon, fantastic, mate. Unbelievable achievement. So proud to see the players actually, talk about the city and the fans that have been really patient. But a lot of us have tried before you. You've come. You've really had a fantastic run. Great job. Lots of challenges. What was the biggest thing for you that changed during your last few years?
Cheers, JK, firstly. My throat's a bit croaky, a bit of yelling last night and singing. And look, there's been a lot of things. I think there's just been when you've got a group so desperate to win, we just had to start from the start, really, and the most important thing was making sure that we were playing as a team, really. We had to play for each other. We needed a reason to work hard when things got tough and stick at it, and we spent a lot of time around what our purpose is as a team, and it come from the boys, and that gave us something to buy into, and from there we just went about going about our work, and we had to get fitter. We started with that and keep working on our game, and some leadership growth. We needed to grow our leaders as well, which we've seen some massive growth from Paddy and his team. And there's not one glaring obvious thing, but a lot of little things that have happened. And obviously last night was a real good reward for a lot of hard work.
Last night.
Oh, he's back. Hang on, he's back.
That wasn't last night. It was the night before. You've had a long 48 hours.
You can't come back and ask a question.
What do you mean?
Mill's got a question.
Okay. Oh, God. He put his Blues jersey on last week.
Well, has it stopped? Has it stopped? I mean, it's been a long time. We've seen that, and we've seen the emotion that's come out of it. Surely you've got to keep these celebrations going. Has it stopped yet, Rangy?
It's stopped for me, that's for sure. I've had enough. But I think a few guys might be having a couple of quiet drinks at somebody's house. But yeah, you're right. It was 2 days ago now. It just sort of blurred into one. But yeah, the guys are thrilled. There's a lot of emotion in the changing sheds. There's a few tears, and yeah, it's been a long time coming.
You changed a bit, over once Aotearoa all finished, and you guys really looked clinical. I mean, what was it that you changed in terms of that and implementing the game plan that you went out with?
We had a really good, robust review at the end of Aotearoa. We let ourselves down a little bit at times, and some of it was just skill execution. But ultimately, we knew we were good enough to compete, with the best teams, and we put pressure on ourselves to live up to our own potential. And to do that, we had to be a bit more open and honest with each other in the way that we train. Like not accept poor standards. So we put on each other to be more demanding, and right from the youngest guy, being able to put some good tension or pressure on some older guys if they're not pulling their weight. There was only a way forward for us, because if we keep sweeping everything under the carpet, we're going to keep making the same mistakes. So we bought into it, and we saw a bit of growth there, and I thought, like you said, our game became a little bit more clinical because we're more demanding of each other.
Look, you had to wait for a bit of time for Finlay Christie to really get on top of his game. A number of injuries early in the season, but he's now been named part of this All Black squad. And how significant was the way that he played through the course of this tournament?
Yeah, massive. I think any championship winning team, you need a 9-10 directing you play well. He does that well, but he's also as you can see now, he's got a running game. He's got a fantastic box kick, which I thought was a big factor in our win a couple of nights ago. We were able to compete in the air and get some good turnover ball and either counter-attack from it. So he's got a good all-round game, and he's just so hungry to be better. He's always last off the training field. He passes, thousands of balls a week. Box kicks 1,000. He's a real pro.
One of our problems often, Leon, is when the team starts to develop, we lose quite a few of our leaders, and I know that a few of the elder statesmen are possibly leaving. And do you have to look forward and keep building on that leadership, or do you go and buy it? How does that look for the future?
Yeah, look, we've got Bowden coming back next year. I think he's going to be massive again. He was massive for us last year, and we missed a little bit of his leadership throughout the year, but we were able to fill that void with Oteri standing up really well. We've got a plan. We're always trying to layer in our leadership, so we've got tiers. We've got younger guys trying to come forward into that space, and young guys like Harry Plummer's been a really good young leader. Dalton's another one, and to Harry to step up and grab the game like he did probably shows that we're starting to really see him evolve on the field like we've been seeing him off the field with the way he trains and helps grow the team. So those are the little moments, or those little stories are probably the really pleasing ones for me as a coach, is when you're starting to see these young guys coming forward and becoming really good, strong players with good leadership qualities.
you got some real depth, particularly in the propping department. I mean, not bad when you can, bring in All Blacks one week and then start another period with All Blacks the following week. But I suspect it must have been pretty tough getting buy-in from those guys, because those guys just want to start week in, week out, right?
Yeah, and like the game in the weekend, the game's often won or lost in the last 30 minutes, and it's very fortunate to be able to roll the bench and go to the bench expecting them to bring something. Just trying to convince them that the last 30 minutes is as important as the first 50, if not more important. So just really buying into that, what's best for the team. And I think the front rowers have done a great job with that this year. They've really brought in, and we've tried to use our bench early. We went to the bench quite early a lot of games, and it's worked for us.
Leon, I know coaching takes a lot out of you. We know very well that it takes a lot out of you. For you, is it time to have a rest just the next couple of weeks, or you've got exit strategies to do with players? How does it work for now, and the fact that are you straight away planning for defending a title? Because you get to say that now because you've got a title to defend. What does it mean for you?
And I'll be saying it a lot.
Oh, yeah, I've got 6 months of JK saying it.
Look, I haven't even thought about the title. The title will become whatever it is next year, a new competition, and it'll be something for us to go and win. We'll enjoy this, and whether it stays in our cabinet forever, whether we ever have another Trans-Tasman trophy, who knows? So, we'll review. A lot of guys are starting to depart into different teams. All Black teams being named today. We have Māoris assembling, Samoa, etc. So we all disperse and start a new life nearly instantly. So I'll be back and just taking stock of where we've been, what we've learned this year, and what's really important moving forward, and start planning for next season. And we'll be filling up the rest of our roster, which is pretty close to being full now. And we'll just start building, getting ready for next year.
And working on your handicap.
Definitely working on my handicap.
It's like
definitely working on my handicap. Yeah.
Mate.
That's something I'm definitely going to do. Like, it's been a long year. I'm not sure why, but I think everybody's just sat back and going, whew. 2 competitions, the emotional roller coaster of the first one, then getting back up off the ground to go again. I think it's been a tiring year, but really enjoyable as well.
Congratulations. That's all I can say. And you did it the hard way. You went over a courageous Highlanders team that took you to the edge, and it means so much more to me that you won it like that. Look, well done. Congratulations, and thanks for joining us. I know that's not easy when you've had a couple of days celebrating in style. That's our game at the highest level. That's the professional game. Let's go to Bern now and catch up with all of the club news across the country.
You're all nicey pie now, Jeff. When you wandered off, I wondered, has he gone to Eden Park to check out the facilities, the sauna and the unblocked toilet? No, you're back, so that's great, and I'm sure JK is still crying. Anyway, let's have a look at some of the results from club rugby. It wasn't just the Blues celebrating around Auckland, of course, the country. Let's get some results from club rugby. Manarewa's women pulled off a bit of an upset, a 14-10 win against Ponsonby, but check out the half-time score. The South Aucklanders led 14-0 at half-time. That was for the Coleman Shield, so quite the comeback from Ponsonby, but not enough. Down the road and in Ian Foster's old stomping ground, Te Awamutu, the sports club there, 46-20 win against the neighbours Otorohanga in the 5th round of the Waikato Premiership. Across the North Island, Napier Old Boys Marist beat MAC Sports 33 points to 11, and in Wellington, runaway leaders Old Boys University only narrowly beat Upper Hutt Rams 22 points to 19. All right, shifting islands, and Marist Nelson claimed a 29-14 win against Renwick. West Coast, it was a good day for South Westland for Kiwi and Grey Valley. The Valley with a 25-22 win against Wests. All right, and in the bottom of the South, top of the table, Pirates Old Boys, they lost 19-0 to the Barbarians. Tough day at the office. And in the women's competition, Marist beat Wakatipu 22 points to 19. So, Canterbury County final. It was a very, very close match. Petero Tuwai with the winning try for Southern as they held off a real challenge from Southbridge. 22-18 the final score. No sign of DC as water boy for that match. And check this out from Mahino versus Valley. And it is the Adam Johnson show. The centre with the skills and some mean facial hair to match as well. Nice dive, great technique. Club rugby alive and well, thanks to our friends at Grassroots Rugby. You okay, Jeff?
I'm fine, Bernie, I am fine. We had our opportunity, we didn't quite get across the line. I still want to talk about a couple of things out of the game though, Bern. And I think, JK, and this is in all seriousness, I think a couple of opportunities to, I think, set a standard, and we've seen it across some inconsistencies across both New Zealand and Australia. When Ash Dixon gets a yellow card, Bryce Heem gets just a penalty against him. When you talk about protecting the players, I think this is important. When you're talking about trying to stop and lower concussion rates in the game of rugby union, players, if they don't get punished, are they going to change their behaviours? Because we said at the time, look, I don't think there's any intent from Ash Dixon, but in the end, players have got a choice, and it happened, and he had a choice to get lower. And he's good mates with Otiri Black. This is not on purpose.
No, I mean, it should have been a red, I believe. And what we need to do, and Ash Dixon's a great man, wouldn't want to have done it on purpose. But like you said, unless there's going to be severe action, regardless, if you hit the head, and I think in the ruck as well, so I think we need to cover that. If you hit the head, you're gone, because then players are going to change their habits. Like every week you go, oh, is that going to be a red, or is that going to be a yellow, or. It just should be a red. And now that we can replace them, it's not as severe on the team. But the players, the other thing I don't get is, like, DMAC gets 150 weeks and other people don't get, I just can't work it out. And it's not clear.
Wasn't it the point of the red card 20 minutes hand, with the fact that it gave referees the opportunity to go, you know what, direct contact, 20 minutes doesn't mean the game is lost? I mean, have we missed an opportunity through this tournament to actually reinforce things for the game?
I think so. That rule change made a lot of sense, I think, because as we've seen through Super Rugby, actually these red cards and yellow cards do change the game, but having the ability for them to be on the sideline for 20 minutes and not the whole game absolutely makes sense.
And it happened for me, and the incident with Bryce Heem, who is outstanding at chasing kicks, who gets up, competes, but as outside backs, when you lose that opportunity to get the clear air to go and contest for possession, which he was shoulder to shoulder, the duty of care for a player, it comes down when you're the chasing player. Once again, no intent, but what this could cause and the message it needs to send for me is really important, Mills, because this is their front window, right? This is what everyone's watching. The biggest audience we've seen through this competition.
Yeah, and the thing is, like Leon said, they've got to go away and they've got to regroup and sort of have a look at the way they've, if they've coached and things. The same's got to happen with the referees. They've got to make it real simplistic, and if it is that, then good on it. The last thing you want to be doing is sitting, the following week and sort of going, oh well, that's a yellow card, that's a red card, or perhaps they've got to be black and white. Otherwise we're just going to keep inconsistencies in our game. I mean, how does Damien McKenzie, not only just get a red card, but he gets 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
And so what is that saying now, that Ash Dixon doesn't get 3 weeks? I mean, it's what I'm saying is they've got to be consistent. They've got to go away, the referees, whoever's making the laws, and come up with a plan and be black and white so everyone's on the same page.
Yeah, well, I think, Bryce has got to get his referees together. We've always been world class. I watched a few games over the weekend. I think the Northern Hemisphere refs are simpler and clearer. I think we've overcomplicated their roles. I mean, on the weekend in that decision, the touch judge came in and made a choice. We've got to simplify. It's the hardest job in the world, and the refs are out there doing their best. But I just think we've just got a little bit complicated, and I just think we need to strip it back, let them have the personality, let them rule their interpretation as individuals. The players and the coaches will adapt, but then make it really clear. If it's a head hit, you don't have to make a decision. They're off, so just do it. And I think that's really important. They've got too much to do, too complicated, too many rules, so we've got to strip it back.
We know you love the performance. You spoke to Leon Hannah. I'm going to come to you here, though. The fact, nothing but respect, and I don't want to take away anything from the performance. This was significant for the Blues. When you wait that long, does this launch this group with Beauden Barrett, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck coming to their franchise next year? Are they possibly the team to beat?
Oh, I don't know if they're the team to beat, but look, it was a great way to end the season, not only for the players, but for the coaches and the supporters. That's been a long time between drinks for the Blues, and it was great to see them finish that way.
Yes, absolutely.
Can I answer that?
Oh, no, you can't answer that, because we know well and truly clear about where... Look, come on, mate.
I think it's the start of something special. I do. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, Beauden coming into the side.
He's selling tickets already.
Exactly. It's going to be exciting. Now, let's not write off the Crusaders, right? They were outstanding, unlucky not to make it. They're a great side, and we've all pointed towards them, and they've set the standard, but pretty exciting.
You're selling tickets to the Blues. We're giving away tickets to a game on the weekend between the New Zealand Māori taking on Samoa. We've got tickets at us at the breakdown. Make sure you email us, and we'll give you the opportunity to possibly go to the game. Where's Bern? Where's Bernie? Come on in. Come back on in here. It's great to have you back. And as a Chiefs as a Chiefs player, you didn't really care, did you, on the weekend?
Oh, please. These are the tears I want to wipe away. They haven't... The face is just so...
Tears of joy.
Oh, I tell you what, though, we move on now.
He's even wearing blue shoes.
International rugby. It's international rugby, and it's great to see it back. The next month is going to be fun, Mills.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to these players that will be named tonight. Also, the Māori All Blacks, getting out there too and playing, the likes of Samoa. So I'm looking forward to that continuation of the depth that New Zealand rugby is, so fortunate to have.
And the first step, JK, very much so, this connection we have with Pacific Island rugby.
Yeah, we talk about it a lot. Huge part of our game, and it's going to be a huge celebration. Hope everyone turns out to Mount Smart in a couple of weeks. I'm really excited about it.
It will be massive. Thank you so much, as always. It's been a great night here. The All Blacks experience here at Sky City. The team's been together. The All Black coaches have come in. They've given us everything we need to know about what they've got in front of them. It's been a great night for us here at Sky. And the breakdown, we love getting on the road. Thanks for joining us tonight, and we look forward to seeing you when the All Black season kicks off. And thank you for watching Mā Te Wā.
Desperate to break a trophy drought that goes back 18 long years. What a challenge this team brings. Will put the kick out to the wing and Talia scampering across as Ioane steps in and goes in for the try. Did I say some drama? Massive tackling. Ah, that is some sort of pressure. Once again, the Highlanders get themselves out of trouble. Well, that's great work from Collins. The Highlanders now, is that momentum swing. Josh Ioane, huge moment in his career. He's got enough on it. He's got it over, and they're in front. Cool as you like. Situtu breaking his way through tackles. And is this the moment? Gibson scores! After 18 years, the Blues have a trophy to put in the cabinet.